Well, one, if depriving, it depends on what happened, because there are different dynamics of what happened between the father and the mother. Okay, sometimes the woman was just spiteful. She just says that man, nothing. Maybe couldn't marry me. Maybe couldn't do this. Maybe that's why I'm not going to do this. You understand? Sometimes the father actually provides, but he may not be physically there. It may be like those Nigerian situations once in a while where you see someone showing up and then goes away, shows up, goes away, shows up, goes away. That's a whole different story. That's a bit of a gray area. That's different. At least he provides. And sometimes, even spends a few days. Yeah? Though even that is also problematic in its own way. But for a woman, you see, it brings a new problem. How? That you're going to have now children who are also taking on this cycle.
I mean, it's like just propagating something.
Yes, you're taking on this new cycle.
Yeah.
And because you're carrying on this new cycle, you need to understand that the percentage of children who come from these arrangements, especially these sorts of, mother, they tell you statistically, even chances of poverty are higher. Yeah, chances of poverty are higher
in such
arrangements. Yes,
arrangements of families.
Chances of teenage pregnancies are higher.
Even chances of
crime,
abuse, by the way.
Crime, abuse. You understand? So how is it? Isn't that a curse?
Yeah,
that's already a curse. If I'm telling you that statistically, 8 out of 10 people that are in the US who are in prison.
Yeah.
Even if you were to speak road there and do what Denzel did of, excuse me, can you tell me where your father is? If I can tell you, out of 9, even if you got 100 women and ask them, can you all tell me where your father is? I can tell you 98% of those women have no father, or have either never saw the father, or the father left or died.
Wow.
Even so that's a curse anyway of its own.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can hear, today is one of those very controversial conversations. But again, I think it is controversial because it needs to be heard.
Yeah.
This needs to be dealt with. And today we are dealing with the shifting shadows of shady men and single mothers. And we have seen clearly that there is an effect on the next generation when we as adults who bring them into this world do not collaborate to intentionally raise them. And my last question to you would be about following this train of thought. I've heard you say this before, and I'm going to give you time to just speak from your heart on this particular topic, because you talked about your fathers, the many fathers that you've been blessed with. When you say do not be your father, what do you mean?
Good question.
For me, this is how I looked at it. Because of how I grew up, when I was told that this man is not your dad, I kept on asking myself, is he there? Is he alive? Maybe he's rich. I even started telling myself, maybe he's rich, but he didn't want anything to do with me. Maybe he's
So all these voices in your head.
Yes. So once in a while I started seeing him. I would see him, see him there, then you don't see him again. Then you see him, then you don't see him again. Then I remember as I was growing up, I started to say, and it's partly why I've tried so much to grow up and say I am not going to leave a trail of children just anywhere with anyone. I even remember saying I'd rather not have them than have them and not raise them. Yeah? Because I said the passion and the pain that I have seen, I'm going to turn it into passion and say I am going to do everything I did not get. Okay, ironically, even some of my siblings were not raised by him. Actually, many of us were not, because at some point he also, in the legit family setting, he was also broke down. So now even the others were not raised by him. Wow. And I remember my bigger brother telling me, boss, there is no way. I sometimes even said, you see, this is why we cannot have children outside.
Yes.
He kept on telling me,
You're telling each other that.
Yes, he told me you cannot have children outside. Have you seen? Do you see this sort of mess we are in now? Yeah. So I also promised myself that, in whatever I do, I try turn that anger and the pain that I felt into the passion of, if when my children come, I'll do whatever it is in my capacity to make sure that they do not see what I've gone through. But that's also because I had mentors here and there. But I was also able to see examples of families, like their family, the Russian's family here, that I saw proper, well-structured family, where I saw order. But I was also at some point in a family with order.
Yeah.
At least with the mother and the stepfather and siblings, and we were all in some sort of order. At least I have family pictures, I have everything. So and in the neighborhood where I grew, I could tell the differences. The families that had single mothers, there were things they were not able to enjoy. And families that had proper family structures, there were things that were able to enjoy. Because even at some point, I don't know if the Bible was referring to family, there's a part where they say, when you do something together, it's in I'm trying to where it talks about
wait,
I'm going to get the scripture where it talks about when two of you are together, you can do better things.
Even that must be Ecclesiastes. Yes. The two are better than one.
Yes. Thank you. That one. Yes, two are better than one. Okay. Or even when you lies down, you can get warm, something like that. I'm not a very Bible person, but at least there are things that I'm able to tell.
One, we thank God for it.
So that sort of thing. So I made it intentional and a deliberate effort that if I'm not going to raise children, I'm not going to bring them.
One of the things that you've just brought out in the submission there is that the solid Jamal, the man, he brings order, brings order to the family, and that is one of the things that is missing where the man is a shadow, right? Where the man is not there. And you've rightly put it, because you made a vow. You're not going to subject your kids to an environment where there is no order, there is no security, there is no direction, there is no protection.
You know that in our word solid Jamaaz, where solid is an acronym, that the S stands for secure and the O stands for organized. Organized. A solid Jama is an organized, orderly person. So
what does LID?
L stands for loving. A solid Jama is secure, he's organized, he's loving, he's intentional, and then he's disciplined. Right. But yes, we want to give you a chance to speak.
Okay.
Also, close.
Okay. So, to add on, this is what I think. Okay, in conclusion, I think that one, what does a single parent do when they find themselves in such a situation? What is the way forward? For me, this is what worked for me. You have to find a mentor. There has to be a father figure at some point.
Yes, a father figure in the life of a child.
Yeah, it doesn't. If it's not the father, doesn't have to be. You don't have to go and marry another person. Yeah. In fact, I was told of a story, I think, by someone about my parents that my mother said at some point that she told my stepdad that I am coming with this child. I have my child and I am coming with my child. Are you going to be a father figure to this child? You understand? I think that is the sort of thing. Sometimes if you want to remarry, maybe now you want a proper solid structure, in a family. Yeah, and you already have children. Whoever you choose has at some point has to be, because the child. So the challenge now the women face is that you want to say now get a proper structure for your children. Now you say maybe I'm going to get married to someone else, and now you realize that there are children involved that you've had previously, maybe didn't work out, the first question you have to ask yourself, whoever I'm going to get, do they accept me as my children, and are they going to be a father figure? Because sometimes what women do is that when this comes about, you say it's going to be about me and my husband, so let's find where to put the other children. Maybe let's get them and with my sister, with my uncle, with a relative, with someone else. Yeah. Then you decide, I'm going to concentrate on my mind, let's start a new family and try and act like the other family does not exist.
Like but it's like you want a clean slate of sorts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you end up in a position like that. But also there's a scenario where you have decided, you know what, the children exist and I'm moving with my children wherever I go. Or sometimes I'm not going to remarry, or I'm going to raise my children as a single mother for eternity, or I'd say till I die or something. You also have to find them. It could be an uncle. It would be, a friend. It could be family friend. It could be someone, but someone you trust, or someone you see that can mentor them. As a father, because then it have to be someone rich, because most people make that mistake. Some of the greatest men in the world we have now ever walked on this earth were not rich. Whichever fields that they were not rich. The Marcus Garveys, the Martin Luther Kings, whoever it is. Yeah. Even I know people who have had very great fathers that were not rich. I was partly raised by the Solutions here at some point, and I cannot say they were the richest people that I know.
Yeah, they were rich in heart.
No, you understand. But they did whatever they could do to make sure that I was raised right.
That's it.
Yeah. So even when I was doing particular things, there's a point in my life where I was expelled from school. That phase after my mother died, I was expelled from school. As soon as I moved into a new school, I remember telling some of my guys at school, I cannot afford to be expelled again because I have more problems at home than I have in this school. I am going to do whatever it is in my capacity to try and stay in this school. And when I get to A-level, I am going to start afresh. And that's what I did. When I went to A-level, I reorganized myself. I started afresh. Because also partly because I had some bit of background. The people who were mentoring me, who said, my friend, we've seen this has happened, but now what do you need? What is it? We understand. Because there are people actually, at that phase of my life, I know people who say that is a spoiled child now. He is now in a single parent household. That's a spoiled child. I still remember my neighbors. I was ostracized at some point where my neighbors said they told their children not to associate with me.
Yeah.
Because they had started seeing now the disorganization. I'd lost a parent. Meanwhile, this parent was their very close friend. But now they started saying, now this boy is getting scattered left, right, and center. But then there were people who had faith in me and said, I'm not sure that's why my wife is called Faith. I don't know if that's why. The people had faith in me and said, boss, instead of judging me or saying you're a bad child, they said, you come. You are going to be okay. It is going to be okay. Things will work out. And these were men, some of them women, but people who tried to give me a family setting and said, you're going to be okay. You're going to turn out fine. You will not be a miyaya. And I don't think so far I am not.
Yeah.
At least as far as I'm concerned, I've made it this far. I am not.
You're not stolen someone's.
No, exactly. At least there's no. I keep telling people, at least no one has come out and claimed and said, "Boss, these children are yours." No. So I said, I'm not saying that the other people are. Circumstances change, but at least someone has come out and told me, no, you know what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay. You're going to turn out fine.
Yeah.
And so I would advise the women in such a situation, find mentors for these children. Find some
Jamaaz, some solid
Jamaaz raised, because I also saw another situation. Where I want to use this example, the last one. I recently saw a situation where someone had a person I know I'm actually related to had 3 children, but a boy and 2 girls. So I noticed there was something about the boy. He was unruly, he kept jumping around, doing all sorts of things. Then I asked the mother, but this boy, why does he do these things? And I noticed you can't even give him this level of discipline. He said, but when the father is around, he doesn't do those things. But also I noticed when men come around, when you're around is when he starts to misbehave like this. But then when the boy would come to greet me, he looks down, then he cheeky